California Republicans, led by James Gallagher, are proposing to split California into, once again, this is not the first proposal, but it's important. I want to show you the proposal he's submitting, and then I'm going to show you what it means politically in terms of congressmen, the amount of electoral votes, etc., how it would affect us nationally. This is the proposal. You can see it in this map right here. And frankly, and what you're seeing is yellow is Republican, blue is going to be the Democrat. I know it's not technically Republican, Democrat, but let's be honest, that's what it is, right? It's actually, frankly, very generous from this Republican, I think. What you can see is that the only connection that the state has to the ocean is in its most top part, and that's a Republican part of of California, so it's not crazy to imagine that that would be there. And then the rest of the coast is the liberal part of California, the original state. I mean, San Diego, they get Ventura, Santa Barbara, San Francisco, all of it. And that's not to say that the Republican state wouldn't get a lot of beautiful areas. I mean, I think that Yosemite would be in their state. They've got, Mount Shasta, beautiful areas in there. And so obviously that would come into play. That would be part of the negotiation is like, bro, who's getting the most beautiful parts of California? The reality is California is amazing. It's a beautiful place. And so both states would have a lot of beauty, a lot of amazing parts to it. And I actually think this is a very normal map. I actually don't think this is a crazy map at all. I think it's very generous for both sides. The 17 coastal counties, that would be like the liberal one, would together create a state of 29.5 million people. So huge state still. The inland state, which again would be the Republican state, would be home to 10 million people. So both very large states. That would mean that the new Republican-led state would get exactly a third of the congressmen. That would come out to 17 Congress members, still a large state. And then a liberal California would get about 34, which is huge. Each would still have 2 senators. So that would mean we would have 51 states. And that would mean that we would have 102 senators rather than 100. That also means that the new California, would have 19 electoral votes when deciding the president, and the old one would have 36. It would turn the old California into a Democrat stronghold. It already kind of is, but it would be even more Democrat. And then it would be like Massachusetts, DC level, really intense. The new California under Republicans would be like Utah or Tennessee. It would be very, very Republican. A lot of people don't know this. California has more Republicans in it than any other state. And most of it is in that part of the map that they're wanting to split with the coastal regions. It would be a Republican stronghold. It would essentially make it impossible for Democrats to take the Senate for a long time because, again, there'd be 2 senators more on the Republican side. It would also make it a lot more difficult for them to take the House because, again, now we're having, 15, maybe 14, 15 more Republican House seats in that area. I mean, a lot of those are already House seats, so I don't know if it'd be more, but it would be more than the current gerrymandering that's gone on in California. And even though it's a great proposal, I think it's worth a shot. I think it's something that most Californians would be okay with. But there's no way Democrats would allow it to happen. And the reason why is for the reasons I just talked about in terms of more Congress members, electoral votes, and senators. It would be a huge win for Republicans, politically speaking. One of the kind of ironic things about this proposal is Gavin Newsom has actually been going on and on and on about this has been on X as well as the mainstream media about how much his state produces in terms of the economy. It's the 4th largest economy in the world. And what a lot of liberals are talking about is how all of that comes from the coastal cities in America. All the GDP. This is the way of kind of putting down rural Americans that liberals are doing right now. You can see this map. This map has kind of been going around. What you see is that the blue and the orange, respectively, each represent 50% of the GDP in America. So most of the GDP is coming from coastal cities. That's absolutely true. There's nothing wrong with admitting that. But the problem is they're using it as a cudgel against rural America. And what I think is kind of ironic about this is if that's true and liberals want to brag about it, just cut the other people out of the state. Because what they're saying right now is, look, we're in the coastal cities. We're the elites. We do all of the work, and then we're subsidizing rural America. And I know politically they don't want to do it, but in terms of what people want out of lifestyle, I think this is such a slam dunk of a deal. Like, do it then. Yeah, if you want to be part of your coastal city paradise elitism where you make all the GDP, cut them out. I'm pretty sure the rural Americans are going to be very happy not being a part of your state. You've got the snooty coastal elites. They can produce all the GDP. The country folk can just enjoy their lives without cities controlling their laws and their way of life. It's unlikely to happen, almost impossible, but I do commend Gallagher for trying. I think it's worth a try every now and again. I think conservatives in a large liberal state anywhere in America should try to do the same thing. The Josh Carr Show is now on We the Free. We the Free is a conservative streaming platform. Don't support the liberal ones. They don't have your best intentions at heart. They use money to create woke crap. That does not happen on We the Free. We the Free has political commentary. It also has a ton of Second Amendment content that is absolutely fantastic. Go check it out right now. The link is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching this episode, everybody. Please like the video so that other great patriots will see it and big tech will actually share it and it won't censor it. And you can check out the show every single weekday at 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can watch another video right here.